Hi, everyone. Tonight we're going to be talking about goal setting. This is the start of a 12-week series. So we're beginning tonight, series 1 out of 12. And I think it's important. I'm going to answer some questions at the end. If we run out of time, I'm going to try to run through the concepts fairly quickly and then answer your questions at the end. The goal of this 12 weeks is really to help everyone, especially during the summer months, to really get started on your goals, to get your goals down on paper, and then to find that point of accountability either with me or with someone else so that you're doing the things that you need to do to have a productive summer. And I think it's important when we think about goals that we're thinking about goals in all the areas of our lives, not just in our vocation or our work. So let me share my screen with you. Oops, there we go. Okay, so this is kind of a repeat what I did tonight, this morning, for you all. I'm going to speed through some of the original slides because you obviously know who I am. But for who's ever listening to this later on and recording, you'll be able to hear a little bit more information as I flesh it out. I'm Elena Yordan, and we're going to be talking about goal setting tonight, first of a 12-part series. So thank you to our team. I know that all of you work super hard every day to basically spread the word of good health, and I want you to know that I truly appreciate it. Most of the ideas that are taken from this are in this presentation are taken from my book, or carries in my book, Essential Oils Healthcare for Today. So let's start let's jump in. So you're going to plan your year, design your days, and then achieve your biggest goals. Now, over the last couple of weeks, one of the things that we've been doing is I've been asking the coaches for their goals. And many of you have been super generous and have sent me your goals. In written format, either direct messaged me or emailed me. And I want you to know that I really appreciate your taking the extra time to really spell those goals out. So we're going to be talking today about annual goals. There are multiple different types of goals, but right now we're talking about annual goals. And the reason we're talking about annual goals is because between now and the end of the year, you have a marvelous window of opportunity to really plan the rest of this year. You're at the halfway mark in your year. You have 6 more months to make 2019 a big success for you and your family, and this is the time that you want to stop and really look at where you are and where you are going. The other thing is that while this is not the start of the third quarter, in my mind, in our doTERRA business, our quarter is really this quarter of June, July, and August, these 3 months, are more like our summer season, and our summer season precedes our very heavy season of September, October, November, December. Now, we all know that September through December can be super hot and just a lot of energy. People are seeing the new products from convention, and sometimes the summer months can be a little bit not so hot. They may be hot in temperature, but maybe not in terms of engagement. But I will tell you, the work that you are doing now, or the work that you do now in these 3 months, are going to determine the outcome that you have at the end of the year. And I'll also suggest to you that if you're not seeing the results that you want right now, it is a result of the work that you did 3 and 6 months ago. So if you took time off and you needed a break 3 or 6 months ago, that's okay. But if you're in a position where you're saying, wait a minute, I'm not getting the enrollments that I wanted to get, or I'm not seeing my numbers, or I'm not hitting the goals that I thought I would want, look back and look at the blip maybe that you had earlier in the year or even late last year. It can be affecting what's going on now. So you're going to set powerful goals so you can start the process for achieving them. The number one reason people fail to achieve their goals has nothing to do with writing it down. It doesn't have to do with not having support from their family and friends. It doesn't have to do with anything with being disorganized. It has to do with lack of visibility. So if your goals are not visible to you on a regular basis, you are going to forget about your goals. You need to begin to put your goals in a place where you're going to see them again and again and again. And I'm going to make some suggestions to you. You don't have to copy exactly what I do, but I think the suggestions will guide you in a direction that I think will help you. Now, I know we live in a completely digitized age, And I think that's going to affect the way some people will look at what I'm going to talk about next. But I want you to think in terms of paper and digital. So the both, so analog and digital, if you will, to get the best bang for your buck. Okay, this is what I am using. This is called a focus planner, courtesy of a man named Michael Hyatt, H-Y-A-T. And what he does is he basically breaks the goals into manageable parts. And I'm going to go through those parts in detail over the next 12 weeks. Today, we're only going to be talking about how to set a goal, how to write it down and make sure that it's actually a goal and not a wish and not a to-do list. So I will say I got one person who sent me some beautiful goals. I'm actually going to call them out. Chantal, it was you. Just right on the money, perfectly worded and everything. But I got a lot of people who sent me either, I want to lose weight. Well, that's not really a goal. That's a wish. Or a laundry list. I'm going to enroll 10 people and I'm going to do this and that. Yeah, but why are you doing this? You're working for a bigger framework. So let's dive in right away. Okay, step one, number one is, what are your goals for the remainder of 2019? So I'm assuming that if you got on this call, you have a little bit of an idea of what your goals are for the remainder of the year. Hopefully this process is going to help you to identify them. You're going to list your goals, whether they are spiritual, intellectual, emotional, physical, marital, parental, social, vocational, or avocational, and finally financial. And so when we talk about spiritual, we're talking about things like maybe a regular prayer service or a reading of the Bible or meeting with a spiritual director. We're talking about intellectual. We're talking about maybe learning a language or getting more proficient in something that you don't know how to do. Maybe taking a class, whether online or in person. Emotional, are you having difficulty connecting with other people? Maybe you have fear. Then that's where your emotional goals come in. Physical goals can be anything from running to dieting. We all have physical goals. Marital, whether you're married or not, let's call these relationship goals. I want to get married. I want to meet more people. I want to keep my marriage intact, whatever it is. And maybe you just want to add some fun to your marriage. A marital goal can be anything that you want. Parental goals. What are your goals for your children? And for those of you that are parents, we all have goals for our children, whether they're stated or not. Now, you can lump all your children together and say, I want all my kids to get into college, but you're probably better off setting them into stages. I'm helping this one to get into college, or this one needs assistance with math. Whatever the parental goals are, try to spell them out. Social goals. Do you need to meet with more people? Have you neglected certain relationships? Do you need to call your sister on a more regular basis? Social goals can be any of those things. Vocation is obviously your work, and I'm sure you're very clear about your work goals, or at least you will be by the end of this Zoom. Avocational. Do you like to, I don't know, knit or ski or, I don't know, fly fish? Do you want to get better at that thing? And how are you going to do it? And finally, financial goals. Now, as I said before, you don't have to have goals in all 10 categories. What you want to try to shoot for is 7 to 10 annual goals, because really too many goals is a recipe for failure. So 7 to 10 annual goals. And for your super high achievers out there, please don't come back to me with a list of 15 goals. It's too many. And one of two things happen. Either we begin to see it as a mountain that we can't get across, like this gentleman right here, or we get totally discouraged and we just fall into despair. Neither one of those things are good. Okay, let's talk about how goals should be smarter. So let's talk about S, the specific, not general or vague. So a good, bad example would be, I want to learn photography, versus a good example of, I want to complete John Gringo's course in photography. Measurable, you would need to quantify the result that you want, add a number, a dollar figure, or a percentage. So bad example would be earn more money versus earn $10,000 more this year than I did last year. Action-oriented. Don't start the goal with a to be verb. So use an action verb. So for example, a bad example would be more consistent in blogging, versus a good example of write 2 blog posts per week. Your goal should be a little bit risky. It should fall into your discomfort zone, folks. So a bad example would be increase sales by 3%. All right, that's okay. Versus increase sales by 15%. Now, does that get your blood running a little bit? Do you start blinking your eyes? You feel the difference? The 15% is a challenge. And it doesn't matter that you may meet, surpass, or don't meet the 15%. The idea is that you're putting out a goal that's going to be a little bit risky for you. Your goal should be timed. It needs to have a deadline. So as I mentioned earlier, I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, all right. Versus, good example, I want to lose 20 pounds by April 1st, 2020. Your goal should be exciting or personally compelling to you. So, bad example, take a 1-week vacation. Okay, lots of us has taken a 1-week vacation. That's interesting, but maybe not so much. Versus take a 1-month sabbatical trip to Spain to build my team in a new market. That's exciting. That's something can get your, your blood running, that you think to yourself, could I do that? How would it work? And really planning it out and making sure that you're able to do this thing. Your goal also needs to be relevant, which means appropriate to your season in life. So for this example, I'm going to use a mother of 3 with a newborn baby. Bad example would go back to school and get my MBA. It's not the best season in her life to do this. Versus a better goal, which could be complete an online course in strategic planning or accounting. There are goals that we need to complete in certain seasons of our lives and other goals that need to wait until we have more time or have more energy. We have to make sure that whatever stage that we're in our life, we're honoring that stage or that season. Okay, goals should be one of 2 types. They should be an achievement or a habit goal. So an achievement goal is a one-time accomplishment, like completing a project, paying off credit card debt, doing your personal best in a half marathon. A habit is something that you can track every single day. So for example, drinking 64 ounces of water every day would be a habit goal. Taking a walk or exercising 3 times a week for at least 30 minutes for the next 90 days, that would be a habit goal. Okay, I threw these in because when I was doing the presentation earlier, I'm talking to a wider audience. You can take a quick screenshot of this if you wish, but I'm not going to go over the goal setting diffuser blends at all. Okay, now do not underestimate the power of written goals. There have been certain studies that have been done over the years, but this is kind of a newer one that Dr. Gail Matthews at Dominican University conducted a study on setting and writing goals. There were 267 participants, and people with written goals were 42% more likely to achievement. But there's more detail to this study. So kind of interesting results. They got broken down into 5 groups. Group number 1 was simply asked to think about their goals and then asked to rate that goal on the following dimensions: difficulty, importance, the extent to which they had the skills and resources to accomplish the goal, their commitment and motivation to the goal, and whether or not they had pursued this goal before and their prior success. Okay, so group 1, just going to think about them. Group 2 was actually asked, groups 2 through 5 were asked to writing them down. But in group 2, they had to rate them on the same dimensions. They did all this on an online survey. Group 3 was asked to formulate action commitments for those goals. Group 4 was asked to do that and to find a supportive friend. Okay, really interesting. And then finally, group 5 was asked to do all of the above and was also sent weekly reminders to email quick progress reports to their friend. Super interesting, right? Okay, so what were the results? Remember, written. So the unwritten goals were by far much, much lower than the other 4 groups. But as you can see in groups 2 through 5, the written goals, the written with actions, the commitment to the friend, and then kind of zooming to the top is the written goals with a commitment to a friend and a written progress report. Now, I will tell you, your progress report can be written to your friend, meaning your husband, your mother, your sister. It does not have to be emailed to me. If we are in an active conversation and you'd like to share some of your goals with me, I'm happy to review any goals that you wish. But the idea of keeping yourself accountable to someone else, I think, is really super powerful. Okay, written goals are more powerful than just thought about goals, but, right? So the graph is basically telling us the higher your chances of success if your goals are written down, but you're fooling yourself if you're thinking you're suddenly going to achieve a goal because you write it on a piece of paper and then walk away and forget about it. And I have to say, I've been guilty of this many times in my life. I have written goals on paper and then maybe, I don't know, taped it up to my bathroom mirror and then kind of gone, oh yeah, I'm going to, I don't know, recite it like a mantra twice a day. And then I don't know, next time I need to clean my mirror, the goal comes down and I've totally forgotten about it. I've also opened up a notebook from time to time and said, hey, I'm going to draft my goals in here and then get on to the next thing, and the notebook gets lost and away it goes. What has changed for me, I think, in the last month or so in my thinking, and then maybe the last 6 months, is I've begun to realize that there has to be some sort of thing or place that I can write my goals and refer to them on a weekly, daily, and monthly basis, and certainly a quarterly basis. And I think for me, that focus planner is the thing that's beginning to work. I'm kind of working my way through it, opening it up. You can copy it in any way that you like. Most of you know that I've done time blocking for years, and this is another opportunity for me to do time blocking. And so I think this particular tool is the right way for me to go. Okay, so we work on a 90-day achievement cycle by focusing on 90 days, which is why I'm doing this class for the next 12 weeks, basically a 90-day. And because we work in sales, we can clearly see in which direction our team and our life is moving. So number one is, I'm going to challenge you this week to write smarter goals. You're going to DM me your goals if you haven't already done it, or if you have done it and you realized what you wrote were either wishes or a laundry list, so just basically a to-do list, then I want you to go back and look at those goals and answer those questions for yourself. Is this a habitual goal or this is an achievement goal? And what category does it fall in? Because I think that's the most important thing. So step number one, write out the goals in the smarter format. Decide whether it's achievement or habitual. And then I also want you, the last thing is figure out what kind of category the goal is in. And I think that should be easy. So what I had everybody doing actually today on this morning's post was going to Elena Yordan on Instagram or Facebook, following, posting a comment about what they learned, and then tagging 2 friends. I'm going to show you a couple of things that we've been doing, because for this month, it's my birthday month, and it's actually Julia's birthday month. My birthday was last Monday, many of you know, and Julia's is tomorrow. So if you can give her a shout out, that would be super nice. She won't be back into the office again until Friday, but I'll show you what we've been doing. So last week, we, on Oil Camp Alumni and a couple of other pages that we manage, we posted these 2 images. We were trying to encourage people to give us a diffuser recipe, because obviously they were going to win a diffuser. We wanted them to post the favorite diffuser recipe in the comments. This is on Facebook. Follow on Elena Yordan and tag 2 friends. And you'd be surprised how many people could not complete the 3 steps. So we did get some engagement, and our idea really is to increase the engagement in Oil Camp Alumni and increase it across the other platforms. We do have other platforms, as you know, and these, like I said, this is not the only page. I did post this on Oil Camp Alumni, but a couple of other pages are also getting the same type of posts. This was the winner. A winner was announced today. So Betty Lowe, she's the winner of the Mango Diffuser and the Bergamot Essential Oil, and wanted to say thank you to everyone who entered the contest. So congratulations to Betty Lowe, but this is what basically she won. And then we also posted this. So this giveaway is over. Stay tuned. The next one's just beginning, and we'll be posting the new giveaway tomorrow. So if you can get onto the Facebook pages Oil Camp alumni, certainly, Team Power Diamond, and a few other private pages that I'm posting on. But Oil Camp alumni is the primary one right now. Encourage your teams to get on there and follow the directions as closely as possible. They're not hard. There's usually 2 or 3 steps, but we're asking them to do 2 things so that they begin to get more and more information. Okay. Wellness box program. I'm not going to talk a lot about this because we don't have tons of time tonight, and this is not about wellness box. This is really about goal setting. On ElenaYordan.com, if you scroll down on the home page, you're going to see an image of a wellness box for the month. The images are changing every month. They're calculated to be 150 PV, and we'll be editing and teaching about these monthly LRPs in the Monday morning meetings, in the Monday morning Zooms. So most of you are on the Monday morning Zoom, or some of you are on it from time to time. At the very least, if you're not on it, I hope that you're listening to it in its recorded state and passing that on to your teams, because it does have, I think, valuable information for all of the teams. But I just want you to remind you about the Wellness Box program, and we'll go through that a little bit more in the weeks ahead. You're amazing. I'm so happy that you're here, and just thank you for being here. Okay, so I'm actually going to stop the share now, and I want to open it up to questions. I don't know how many of you were on. If you want to just raise your hand or type it in the chat, that would be great. We're a little noisy before, so I don't want to I don't want to keep it on too long. So if you have questions, you want to type them in the chat, or I can unmute you. Okay, anybody? Questions? Okay, I unmuted you all because we're only 8 here tonight.
Thanks, Elena, for making the time to do this. I think it's such a good reminder, because a lot of times, at least I speak for myself, it's easy to become distracted by everybody's glittering, beautiful achievements that are out there, and feel like we end up scattering into a million different places, and then we end up not getting a whole lot achieved. So I like the simplicity. I like the guidelines. I know for myself that the one thing that really struck me was visibility. I think that that was a huge standout point for me, and I look forward to trying to create some better ways in order to be able to see my goals, because I like setting goals. I like achieving them even better. And right now I've been in a season where I feel like maybe I've I've lost some steam and got sick and need to regroup. And so I think the visibility piece is one of the first things that I know I can implement. So thank you for that. That was a great nugget that I'm going to take away from tonight. And I look forward to following along over the next week.
Thank you. Anybody else? Takeaways? Favorite part? Least favorite part? Questions?
I like, hi Elena, Carol, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Very well. I like combining I like the idea of the achievement and the habit goal.
Okay.
And thinking about them separately like that.
Okay.
Even though they do correlate, at least for me.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to do for my health, like drinking the water, getting the exercise, my mental state is better, and I can achieve the things that I want to do. So they're definitely connected, but I like breaking it down. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. I'm going to challenge all of you with physical or habitual goals. Sometimes we can get a little bit nutty. So for example, one of my habitual goals is to drink more water, and for a couple of different reasons. Number one is when I drink more water, I drink less coffee, which for me is a good thing, because especially I work from home and we have a bottomless pot. Anybody who's been to my house knows we literally have an urn, 30 cups going at any time, because there's somebody always in and out getting coffee. And so it's very tempting to just go up and grab another one. If I drink a lot of water during the day, I'm not thirsty. I don't go for another cup of coffee. Maybe I will again when it's cold, but right now it's beautiful out. So the water goal is very straightforward. It's a habitual goal, 64 ounces, and I can mark it off. But then I set actually a spiritual goal for myself. So instead of setting a spiritual goal of, say, I don't know, reading the Bible for 30 minutes or saying a certain set of prayers or so on. I said, read prayers, go to mass, do this, read the Bible. Blah, blah, blah. I lumped it all into one giant goal. That is not one goal, folks. One goal, right? One single one is the habitual goal. So let's say the goal is saying a certain prayer every day. Do that for 90 days. And then once you've achieved that, then go on to the next habitual goal. So at the end of a year, you'll have achieved 4 or maybe even 8 habitual goals. Wouldn't that be a great thing, right? But don't say, I'm going to stop eating carbs. I'm going to drink extra water. I'm going to exercise 30 minutes. I'm going to lift weights. Like, whoa, give yourself some slack here. Pick one if it's a health goal, maybe 2, but break them down, right? Don't get crazy. Does that make sense? That's a good point, Carol.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. If you're doing a habitual goal, I literally want you to get a physical calendar like this and put hash marks on it. See what I'm doing? Every day I'm putting water, 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 water. You know, it's repetitive, but it's beautiful. And this is a visual reminder. Oh, wait, I didn't get to my water. I want to make my line. Keep drinking.
I love that.
Okay? Good. Okay, who else? I'm almost done. Can you see? I'm drowning, but I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Look, I only got a little bit left there. Okay, tell me more. Yes, are you unmuted? No, Lisa, hold on. Tell me, Lisa. Wait. Unmute.
Hello.
Go. Yes, go.
Hello. Hello.
Uh-huh.
I was going to say, I think that what you said about, I do that where I make, spiritual goals and I have this long list, and that becomes, because I can see, what I see is it's about comparison, which I do a lot. I call it inspiration, but it's not. It's like I watch all of these leaders doing all of their things, and I'm like, I can do all of that. And I don't have the habits in there where I can, every day do a thing. I make 200 phone calls and 2 hours, and then I don't do it because, but if my goal is 200, then making 2 is stupid. So why bother?
Right.
So
Right.
I think that's really important. And yeah, I think that is my biggest problem, is that I want to put the cart in front of the horse and I have a whole notebook full of goals that are ridiculous and none of them are done, So I think that I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and like, make your goals ridiculously simple, a daily thing, just a daily thing, like one daily phone call.
Yeah, and I think that's an excellent point. I think in today's world with social media, it is so easy to compare, right? You look at your step 5 and you're comparing to someone else's step 500 and you're saying, I don't measure up. Well, your step 5 is somebody else's step 500. So let's just get you to where you need to be, which is maybe step 10. Okay, that's great. Aren't you going to feel a heck of a lot better? A lot more in control. Here's the other thing. That sense of mastery can build on itself. And when you yourself have achieved mastery in one area of your life, it's going to spill into so many different areas of your life. So if you achieve the water goal, which seems easy, but it may not actually be. I look at my 90-year-old mother, and if she drinks a half a cup of water a day, it's a lot. And we have to remind her. I don't want to get to be age 90 and drinking a half a cup of water. I know that's not good for my health. So achieving those small things. The other thing is we tend to overestimate what we can do in a month. or even 90 days, and underestimate what we can do in a year or even 10 years. So what I'm trying to help you to do is to manage this, put it into small manageable bites. Here's another thing. I'm hoping that I'm teaching you a skill that you're going to be able to teach your teams, you're going to teach your children, you're going to teach your friends, you're going to teach your husband, your boyfriend, whatever it is. So these are skills this is about achievement, right? And getting yourself to a high, you're teaching yourself, right? And you're raising yourself to another level. And that is extremely honorable and valuable. So don't walk away from this conversation and say to yourself, oh, I can't do this, is another thing. I'm expecting all of you, every single person who's on here, Lisa, Jackie, Carol, Chantal, Heather and Howard, Christy, Jill, I don't know who Heavenly Hands is. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. But just each and every one of you to feel when you get off this call, this is an opportunity for me to really stand in my truth and to grow a little bit, right? And it's very rare, I think, that we get someone to mentor us, right? I don't get that opportunity a lot. I have a lot of online mentors, people that I follow that I feel, even people, religious people that I feel set a good example for me and that I can read their stuff and I feel like it's a good example. But at no time does that person come down from high and say, hey, Elena, let me take you by the hand and get you to the next level. That's really rare. And that's what I'm hoping to achieve with these 12 weeks. So if I've done anything tonight, I hope it's that I've reached a hand across the many miles. And if I look at you, I know you're all over the place, really. Really, we're from coast to coast, even these 9 people. So let's call ourselves the pioneers, if you will. I'm actually going to take I'm going to take a screenshot of who the pioneers are so I can remember you all. And Heavenly Hands, if you could type in the comments who you are, I'd love to know that. We don't have a lot of time left. The other thing is I really want to honor your time. 8:30 on a Monday night, just shoot me. None of us wants to be on a call, but I want to be able to provide value for you. So if there's anything that I can answer for you in the next, say, 6 minutes, I'm happy to answer that. But I also want to make sure that you clearly understand what your homework is for this week, right? Your homework is get your goals, 7 to 10 goals, right? Classify them as habitual or achievement, and 2, put them into the categories that they need to be into. Are you typing that in, Chantal? Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And then use the smarter format. Remember what we talked about? Okay. And really drill down. I have to tell you, when I wrote down my goals at first, definitely use the laundry list method. I have to do this, and I have to do this, and I have to get curtains for my son's room. That's not a goal. That's not goal setting. That's a laundry list. That's a to-do list. Really set why, and then we're going to talk about the whys, right? That's not step 1. Next week, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the whys. What are your motivations? Okay, any other questions? Okay, if we have no other questions, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. You can always DM me or you feel embarrassed or you want to talk to me privately. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here in New Jersey waiting for you all. But I think this is a great start to the summer. And I think that, if you think about the summer as being a little bit slower, right? Let's think about this time as like sharpening our saw, right? That's what you're doing now. You're sharpening your saw because the time September rolls around, you are going to be ready and you will have practiced these things. So you're going to be ready and you're going to be so much further ahead than you ever thought that you could be. Okay, everyone. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. I love you all. And I'll be back here again, 8:30 p.m. next Monday, the 17th. Have a good evening. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.